How you going, everybody? Hope this wind isn't too noisy, but just finished priming this subframe from a Dodge. I thought I'd get a quick video in while it's nice and a bit quiet around here at the moment. So yeah, this is another 66 Dodge frame, or subframe, because mine's had these mounts cut off. I picked this up last weekend. I've been trying to make videos during the week, but oh man, just with kids and everything running around outside and bits and pieces, it's just hard to get a bit of peace. But so this was really quite gungy and crusty. I've got a few photos, so I might try and add them on the end of this video as I've been going. And then basically we picked it up, threw it on the trailer and took it straight to the car wash when we got home, and they sprayed some degreaser on it from the car wash itself. Only did sort of the top half and sort of what I could underneath, and then gave it a good pressure wash off for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, get the worst of the gunge off. Brought it home, set it out here, put a tarp over top just to try and keep the worst any weather off if it did happen to rain. Fortunately it hasn't really, except for one day earlier on, but it didn't really matter too much because could still had to finish cleaning stuff off. So yeah, I was going to say, got the wire wheel on a grinder and went around it and got into everywhere I could. And then I got my little hand sandblaster over there, my little sandblasting pot, which is it's quite bloody good. So yeah, you put the sand in there and you just clip the air hose on it, and you can, half a dozen different, or 3 different nozzles you can put on the end for different sizes, for volumes of grit, sand, whatever you want to call it, media. And then I got into all the other little shitty places I couldn't get into, and got the worst of the crud and any scale and all that sort of stuff. Did that and sort of flipped it over and did the other side, in as many areas as I could, especially in and around these openings in the front of the chassis. Like that was quite, I don't know if you can see in there, but that was quite scungy and quite flaky in there, but I've given that a bloody good clean up now. So yeah, then once I got that done, blew it down, and got a bottle of wax and grease remover. Me and the missus went around it twice, each basically. I went around once and she went once around the whole thing. We wiped it down, top and bottom, and then I set to with some spray, or some rattle can spray, like a rust converter neutralizer, and a spray can, and it's a primer as well, so just a light primer. I just went all over that and gave it a good couple of light coats, top and bottom, just to let it cure off, and to just neutralise any rust that could get into anywhere. Just try and sprayed it in the holes best I could, and around all the gaps, and sort of poured it in there the best I could, and sprayed it up the chassis rail as far as I could, and all those sorts of things, and then let that cure off for a couple of hours. And then I primed the bottom of it last night when I had it upside down, and let that sort of flash off, and then I tipped it back up this morning, and I've just finished priming the other side with a couple of good coats of primer. So I'm going to let this cure off now for, I don't know, a good hour or more, because it's nice and hot. Where I don't know what temperature it is, but it's well into the 20 degrees C. So yeah, I don't know, it's quite hot. Like, you don't want to stand out in the sun too much, you get a burn head real quick here. So it's plenty of heat in the day. So yeah, I'll let that cure off now for a good hour or so, and then I'll come along and I'll give it a very light sand with some 400, just to clean up the areas that are seen, just make sure it's reasonably smooth. Just make sure, just there's no major crap in it. And then I'm going to paint it satin black. I did think about painting it gloss black, but I thought just satin black will look a little bit nicer. Just, because it's not going to show any silly imperfections, whereas, well, the gloss black would, whereas the satin black will just be nice and clean, still nice and easy to clean up and wash, and it's going to still look good. So yeah, I'll give it a couple of coats around the best of the top if I can, and down the sides, and then I'll let that harden off for a while, and maybe even overnight, and then I'll flip it over, and tomorrow after work, as long as everything's going good, I'll paint the other side of it. Yeah, because it's just, I'm not sure how, I don't want to flip it over when it's too soft. I'll let it cure off, whereas the primer's drying off really quick. But I'll let the paint just cure a bit longer, give it at least 8 hours, 10 hours sort of type thing before I even try and turn it over. So that's what's happening here. So this is the new subframe. So in a matter of a week, it's gone from scungy and ugly to nice and clean and pretty. It come with all the bottom arms and torsion bars and sway bar and all that sort of stuff, so I've got all that extra if I need it. And it's got actually the boots on the ends of the torsion bars are really nice and soft still, so that's a bonus. So that'll give me a spare set if the ones on mine are no good, and save me trying to hunt some down. They'll be fine for a few years. I'll soften them up in some silicone spray. Normally works quite good to soften them up. So that'll do in the meantime. I'll let it harden off now for an hour or two, and then I'll give it a light sand and paint it. Alrighty, cheers.